Have you ever visited a town in the United States and thought, holy crap, I had no idea we had places like this here? You know, the kind of place that makes you question if you've somehow stepped into a post-apocalyptic movie set? The streets are eerily empty. The buildings look like they've been through a war, and the atmosphere is so thick with neglect you can almost taste it. A place so bleak it should come with a warning label, printed on that flimsy paper they use for parking tickets. The kind that dissolves in the rain because even the universe wants to forget these places exist. It's like the town itself is trying to erase its own existence, one rainstorm at a time. You know, the kind that dissolves in the rain because even the universe wants to forget these places exist. It's almost poetic, in a tragic sort of way. The rain washes away the evidence of human neglect, but the scars remain, etched into the very fabric of the town. Well, I've had that thought more than once. In fact, I've had it so many times that I've lost count. Each time it hits me like a ton of bricks. How did we let it get this bad? How did these towns fall through the cracks? More times than a cat has lives, and that's saying something because those furry little psychopaths are practically immortal. It's like these towns have 9 lives too, but they're on their last one, hanging by a thread. So today, I'm diving into 10 towns that left me shaking my head thinking, this place should have put up a caution sign before you enter. Not just any caution sign, but one that screams, enter at your own risk. Not those cute little yellow ones with the silhouette of a leaping deer, but the kind with a skull and crossbones and maybe a picture of a politician promising change because that's scarier than any ghost story. Imagine driving into a town and being greeted by that. Talk about setting the tone. These towns are dealing with crime, poverty, bad air quality, and in some cases they desperately need either a full makeover or, honestly, a bulldozer. The problems are so deep-rooted that a simple fix won't cut it. We're talking the kind of makeover where you don't just slap on some lipstick and call it a day, but the kind where you have to tear down the whole structure and start from scratch. It's a daunting task, but sometimes it's the only way to breathe new life into these forgotten places. You know the drill. Let's take a closer look. We're going to explore the nooks and crannies, uncover the stories behind the decay, and maybe, just maybe, find a glimmer of hope amidst the ruins. Buckle up, because this is going to be one wild ride. We're about to embark on a journey through America's forgotten towns, where every corner holds a story, and every story is a testament to resilience and neglect. Let's hit the road. First up, we're heading to Flint, Michigan, a city that has become synonymous with one of the most devastating public health crises in recent American history. Now, you might think you know the story of Flint. It's been covered extensively in the media, documentaries, and even movies. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. You've heard about the water, right? The lead poisoning, the government incompetence, the whole tragic saga. But what you might not know is the depth of the impact this crisis has had on the community. But let me tell you folks, it's worse than you think. The water crisis is just the tip of the iceberg. The ripple effects have permeated every aspect of life in Flint. It's like someone took a perfectly good town, held it down, and forced it to chug lead paint milkshakes until it begged for mercy. The damage is not just physical but psychological, leaving scars that may never fully heal. The water crisis in Flint isn't just a news story, it's a festering wound. A constant reminder that sometimes the American dream is more like a nightmare you can't wake up from. It's a cautionary tale of what happens when infrastructure fails and government oversight is lacking. Imagine turning on your tap and wondering if what comes out is going to poison your family. Every drop of water becomes a source of anxiety, a potential threat to your loved ones. That's the reality in Flint, and it's been going on for years. Families have had to rely on bottled water for their daily needs. A temporary solution that has become a long-term necessity. And don't even get me started on the poverty. The economic decline has only exacerbated the situation, making it even harder for residents to cope with the crisis. Flint was once a thriving hub of the auto industry, but now it looks like a post-apocalyptic wasteland with abandoned factories and boarded-up houses dotting the landscape like tombstones in a graveyard of forgotten dreams. The economic downturn has left the city struggling to find its footing. It's enough to make you want to cry, or scream, or maybe just down a whole bottle of something strong and pretend it doesn't exist. The emotional toll on the residents is immeasurable, with many turning to substances to numb the pain. But here's the thing about Flint. Amidst the despair, there's a flicker of hope. Despite everything, the community has shown incredible resilience and determination. There are people fighting back, demanding clean water, demanding accountability, demanding a future for their town. They refuse to be passive victims and are actively seeking solutions. They're like the scrappy underdog in a movie you can't help but root for, even though you know the odds are stacked against them. Their spirit and tenacity are truly inspiring. They're organizing, they're protesting, they're refusing to be silenced. Their voices are growing louder, and their demands for justice are becoming harder to ignore. They're a reminder that even in the darkest of times the human spirit can endure, and that sometimes the most powerful weapon against injustice is simply refusing to give up. Their actions are a testament to the strength and resilience of the community. So yeah, Flint, Michigan might be a town that should come with a warning label, but it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It's a place where hope and despair coexist, where the fight for a better future continues despite overwhelming odds. And hey, maybe, just maybe, if enough people pay attention, if enough people care, Flint can rise from the ashes and become a symbol of hope, not just a cautionary tale. The community's efforts could pave the way for a brighter future. It's a long shot, I'll grant you that, but as they say, stranger things have happened. With continued support and determination, Flint could transform into a beacon of resilience and recovery. And believe me, when it comes to the towns on this list, we're going to need all the strange we can get. Each town has its own unique challenges, but with collective effort, change is possible. Next, we're venturing into East St. Louis, Illinois, a town that's less a shining example of the American dream and more like a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones around a campfire. Imagine a place where the streets are paved with broken promises, the air is thick with despair, and the only booming industry is crime. This isn't hyperbole, folks, this is East St. Louis. This is a town where the unemployment rate makes you wonder if they've just given up counting, where the schools are more likely to be condemned than funded, and where the police sirens are the soundtrack to a never-ending cycle of violence. Now I know what you're thinking. Cletus, this is America, land of the free, home of the brave, surely it can't be that bad. Oh, bless your naive heart. East St. Louis is a stark reminder that the American dream isn't a guarantee, it's a lottery ticket, and some of us are born holding a losing hand. The poverty here is so ingrained, so deeply rooted that it's practically woven into the fabric of the town. Generations have grown up with the weight of economic hardship crushing their dreams before they even have a chance to take flight. It's enough to make you question the very notion of equal opportunity, to wonder if the American dream is just a cruel joke played on those who can least afford the punchline. But here's the kicker. East St. Louis wasn't always this way. It was once a thriving industrial center, a place where people came to build a better life. But then the factories closed, the jobs disappeared, and the town was left to rot, a forgotten casualty in the ever-churning gears of the American economy. It's a story we've heard before, a tale as old as time, or at least as old as capitalism. But that doesn't make it any less tragic, any less infuriating. East St. Louis is a scar on the conscience of America, a stark reminder that we can't just turn a blind eye to the plight of those less fortunate. We can't just throw up our hands and say, well, that's just the way it is. We have to do better, folks. We have to demand better. Because if we don't, then East St. Louis is just a glimpse into the future that awaits us all. The city's decline is not just a local issue, it's a microcosm of broader systemic failures. The lack of investment, the crumbling infrastructure, and the absence of opportunities are not unique to East St. Louis. They are symptoms of a larger disease that affects many towns and cities across America. The people here are resilient, but resilience can only take you so far when the deck is stacked against you. The community has tried to rally to bring about change, but the challenges are immense. Local activists and community leaders are fighting an uphill battle, striving to bring attention to their plight and to secure the resources needed for revitalization. There are glimmers of hope, small victories that remind us that change is possible. Community gardens, volunteer cleanup efforts, and local initiatives are slowly but surely making a difference. These efforts, though small, are a testament to the indomitable spirit of the people of East St. Louis. They refuse to be defined by their circumstances, and they continue to fight for a better future. But they cannot do it alone. It will take a concerted effort from all levels of government, from private enterprises, and from individuals who care about the future of this country. We must recognize that the fate of East St. Louis is intertwined with our own. If we allow this town to continue its downward spiral, we are complicit in its demise. But if we choose to act, to invest in its future, we can help turn the tide. East St. Louis can rise again, but it will take all of us working together to make that happen. The American dream should not be a relic of the past, it should be a promise for the future. And that future starts with us. So there you have it, folks. 10 towns that should come with a warning label, a brochure of despair, a complimentary bottle of hand sanitizer to wash away the grime of reality. We've seen poverty, crime, pollution, and enough government incompetence to make your head spin faster than a politician trying to dodge a tough question. But hey, at least we had some laughs along the way, right? Because sometimes the only way to deal with the bleak reality of the world is to laugh in its face. It's either that or succumb to the crushing weight of existential dread. And frankly, I've got enough emotional baggage without adding that to the mix. So the next time you're feeling down about your own life, just remember it could be worse. You could be living in one of these towns. And if you do happen to find yourself passing through any of these places, do yourself a favor. Roll up the windows, lock your doors, and for the love of all that is holy, don't drink the water.